We're about to go from a president who famously bragged that he knows how to use the Google to one who speaks freely about things like net neutrality and has a vast email network of more than 10 million supporters, some of whom he even reaches through text messages. But perhaps the most significant indicator that Obama is planning to truly become the first internet president is his pledge to appoint the nation's first chief technology officer to bring government into the 21st century. What should be the priorities of our nation's first CTO, whoever it turns out to be?
Well, you know, one of the great winners of the election that just happened was the internet itself. And no matter what your background and interest, if you're a politician, when you come back in 2009, or even in the lame duck session, you know that the internet really made a huge difference. So the government now needs to take advantage of that. The government needs to use the internet to communicate directly with its citizens. It's interesting that if you look at President-elect Obama's use of YouTube for the radio address, he also was able to get comments. People could listen to it. They could say, I agree, I disagree. It drives more engagement. The internet will let us have a much more passionate and engaged population, which I think is a cornerstone of democracy.
Let's talk about the ways that President Obama can harness the internet to make his administration more transparent. I know transparency is something very important to you, more participatory and more effective. Where should he start?
Well, the first thing is that most of what government does is still not public. Not because they're trying to hide it, but because they've never talked about it. Most of the information the government collects is not broadly available. All the citizens who care passionately about forestry or land use or all of the other things that government does at the local, state, and federal level really cannot get at the underlying data that is being used to make decisions. I would hope President Obama, who's made a strong commitment to transparency, would make sure that the government was opened up. He's championed in previous legislation some parts of it. But there's every reason to think, with everyone connected all the time and everyone participating, you can get a much better outcome if everyone's looking and everyone's paying attention. If you look at the way the political race was done, which is hugely successful, whenever one of the rivals would say something that wasn't true, the citizens would react. They would say, no, that's not true. We've checked. We went back. We correlated this. We're not so sure. That makes people much more likely to get to the right outcome and not make bad decisions in secrecy.
Thank you so much, Eric. Much more to talk about, including net neutrality that we didn't get to, but we are all in favor of, and so is President-elect.
Thank you, Arianna.
Thank you for being here.